I'm live for the first time in years. My screen is fogged up and it's going to be fogged up. Let me see if I can clean this real quick with an alcohol wipe or something. I had this camera covered with tape for the longest, and it was probably electrical tape. I still ain't get it clean, I don't think. I'm just going live right now. I'm not expecting nobody to join. The algorithm don't mess with me. But I got a lot of stuff I want to get off my chest and talk about, rant, rave. And man, that is really blurry. Let's see if turning off this light helps. I think that's better. Man, this camera's messed up. I'm not the best looking fella. I wanted to talk about my brother, man. And that's the one bad thing about this camera not being clear. Valentino Cantrell. That's the name. We talked about changing our names to have the same last name many times. Diego Cantrell. Maybe I'll do that. He changed his name a lot of times, man. So this is my brother, man, passed away. In about 12 days, it'll be the anniversary. It'll be 2 years that my brother passed away. Born October 27th, 1978. So his birthday just passed about 2 weeks ago. Now it's been longer than 2 weeks. It's just over 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks was his birthday. And in about 2 weeks, it'll be his death day. I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna cry, man. Like that old song we used to like when we was little boys. All cried out. Lisa Lisa and the Cold Jam. We liked a lot of songs. Tino especially. Tino loved music, man. Tino liked dancing. And so this is a copy of his obituary. Valentino Cantrell, aka Tino, was born in Chicago, Illinois on October 27th, 1978, to his mother. Tino spent most of his early years in Chicago and Harvey, graduating from Leo Catholic High School in 1997. Over his life, he relocated to Texas, Louisiana, and Alabama before ultimately settling back in the Chicagoland area. A lively, charismatic, an incredibly funny person. Tino was super funny. Tino, Tino, man, he can make you laugh when you didn't want to laugh. People were drawn to Tino's energy, naturally artistic, real talk, always creative, inquisitive. Tino studied cultures and religions from all around the world and taught himself to speak multiple languages and with impressive accents and dialects. From barbering, cooking, welding, to driving forklift, wrestling, and boxing, he was skilled with his hands. At the time of his passing, he was diligently studying for his CDL and was excited to become a truck driver. On Friday, November 26, 2021, Tino passed away unexpectedly at 43 years old. He's survived by his children. There's only two children listed here. My brother had more than two children. Do not stand in my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am a thousand winds that blow. I am the diamond glints on snow. I believe his sister put this together. Single handedly. I mean, I believe she did it all. His oldest sister, which was his youngest sister. We got a really complicated family dynamic. Tino was actually my first cousin, and it says it here in this obituary. Well, it don't say we were first cousins, but we weren't even really first cousins. We was half first cousins, but we were also brothers. I mean, he was my foster brother. So we were foster brothers and cousins, but we was raised family full of women, raised around all women. And that's not true. There's plenty of men around. We had uncles, even though they weren't around much most of the time. There were times, maybe an uncle lived with him or uncle lived with me, or, we lived with an uncle together, when we was kids, man, the men that helped raise us was, cats that was around us. Cats that care for us, cats that did for us, cats that gave a damn if we ate that night, if we if we was warm, if we had clothes. I mean, nobody really cared, man. Nobody really cared about us, man. Nobody cared about us. Nobody cared. That's what it's like being a young black man in that situation. I listened to these red pill dudes, and Tino had got into the red pill a little bit. It really wasn't for him. I don't think. I know when we talked about that stuff, we would make fun of him. But he would kind of get into it, man. I really wanted to start a podcast. Man, me and him talked about so many podcasts over the years. We thought about it way before anybody else did. And we talked about it. And I got video footage. Hopefully I can find it, upload it. That's gonna be the first stuff that I want to upload. I'm gonna start YouTubing again. And I'm gonna be real active. I'm gonna be real active. I mean, I was never about the views anyway. You know, it's like the old days of rap. A lot of like hood dudes didn't want to go mainstream. They didn't want to rap to the world. They wanted to rap to the hood. Being an underground superstar was like a big thing. You don't want to be, when you talk and you're talking real talk, you're not talking to everybody. Now this is about Tino, so I'm gonna go deep. He died in his apartment. Like I say, almost 2 years ago. And these are crime scene photos. I got all the crime scene photos. This was his apartment up there. A picture of his car for some reason. Wheaton police car outside of his apartment. He was living in Wheaton last time he moved back up there. You know, usually when I talk to cats from Chicago, they be saying stuff like, "You need to come back." My brother died under mysterious reasons. Now, there are no pictures of his body, but those are like the markers where they found him. This stuff that you see on the ground, that's where the paramedics was supposedly, allegedly trying to see if they could bring him back. More things from where his body was. Got a picture of him, of his dead body too, man. I ain't got it in this. It's not in this group of photos, and of course, I'm not finna show that shit on the internet. So I'm not gonna say what they said the official cause of his death was, because it's still hard for me to believe. And then talking to the characters that he was hanging around with and dealing with. What is that? Oh, that's whiteout. I could get that off. What did they white out? On 11/26/21 at 15:37 hours, Officer Fallon and I responded at 15:37 hours. (3:37 in the afternoon. On 11/26/21 at 15:37 hours, Officer Fallon and I responded to. Okay, that ain't just whited out. That's whited out, but responded to blank, reference an ambulance since DUCOM advised the complainant stated his friend needs an ambulance and cares about him. While en route, DUCOM provided updated information advising his friend had been sleeping for over an hour, needs CPR, and is unknown if he is breathing. Officer Fallon and I responded with an emergency response. Officer Fallon and received and arrived on scene with WFD medics. We made contacts who tell us with, so the name is blanked out. The person that called the paramedics for my brother, his name is retracted, who led us into the apartment and brought us to V. Cantrell. We observed Valentino was laying on his back in the hallway, connected to the kitchen, to the living room. The WFD medics observed Valentino was completely unresponsive and not breathing. Officer Fallon and I, along with the WFD medics, began perform CPR and life-saving measures, including 2 doses of Narcan. We checked the apartment to ensure there were no other subjects inside in need of assistance and located an unlabeled prescription pill bottle containing several white pills with 383 marked on them in the hallway closet. We were unable to identify the specific pill. OIC Fearon arrived on the scene. Valentino was subsequently transported to Central DuPage Hospital where he was pronounced deceased. We spoke to Blank, who was heavily intoxicated, who advised Valentino picked him up from his residence and more stuff whited out early in the day. They went to CVS to buy alcohol, and they've since been drinking alcohol at Valentino's residence. Blank fell asleep on the couch, and when he woke up, he observed Valentino to be laying on the floor completely unresponsive. He walked to the upstairs neighbor apartment and made contact. Blank attempted to get to look to get Blank to look at Tino, but Blank refused because he did not want to enter Tino's apartment. Then went downstairs and contacted 911. Detective Stemar, we checked the interior of the apartment located. Nothing further at this time. So I went up there for the funeral, and while I was up there, I tried to get as much information about my brother as possible. So they said they gave him Narcan. So they saying he overdosed. They don't add up. And that's one of the reasons I spent like a month talking to everybody I could. But one, I'm not from Wheaton, and I probably had never been to Wheaton before that day. Well, I was up there about a month. $22. What really killed my brother? The fact that nobody cared about him. It's like Tupac said, and even if I did die young, who cares? All I ever got was mean mugs and cold stares. Nobody cared about him, man. My brother was real hard to love. Now, Tino wasn't hard to love. He wasn't hard to like. The opposite was true. It was easy to love Tino. It was easy to like him. But it was hard to suffer him. Like Jesus said in the Bible, suffer the children. It was hard. It was hard too. It was hard to love him. Because if you loved him, you wanted him to do good. You wanted him to succeed. You wanted him to, you wanted him to live up to what you thought was his potential. Me and him as brothers, we didn't have that pressure that we put on each other. I mean, we did put that pressure on each other's, but it was much more on a motivational thing. We used to have all these little jokes about if and when we made it out of poverty. We didn't. A lot of my family, they think I made it out of poverty. They look at me like I made it out of poverty. And I didn't. I didn't. I made it to that check to check spot and I got big checks at some points in my life. We had good days. We definitely had some runs here and there. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun together. We had too much fun together. And people used to always say, even when we was little boys, they had to keep us away. They had to keep us apart. They had to keep us separated. We're gonna get each other in trouble or other stuff like that. Which wasn't true. It wasn't true at all. The truth was we had each other's back. So, we didn't have to take L's as much. We didn't have to take as many L's when we was catching each other's back. And then there was one and the other. You know what I'm saying? I catch you catch you know, I catch you talking crazy about my brother. You're probably better off letting him catch you talking crazy about him. Because he might have, he'll probably have a little bit more understanding. And while I do consider my man of great understanding, I was pretty sensitive about my brother and my family in period, man. I was very loyal to my family. So was Tino. So was Tino, man. But we didn't get that loyalty in return from our family. We didn't. From the time we was little boys, man, we loved our family. I was singing Tupac violent lyrics earlier. Hey Siri. Hey Siri. Hey Siri. When people die of drug overdoses, are their eyes open? Hey Siri. When people die from drug overdoses, are their eyes open or closed? Majority, 63% of patients died with their eyes fully closed. However, 37% had bilateral tos- ptosis at death with incomplete eye closure in the study. Central nervous system, and this is cancer, man. Siri loves showing me bad results. Where my other phone at? How do people look when they die from overdoses? Fentanyl overdoses. I do wish I had my other phone with me. I don't think. I think it's out there. Apple does not give you good results. I mean, I'm sure maybe it's probably just the way I learned to. I learned to search on Google. Okay, this ought to do it. Boy, Apple really stinks when it comes to searches. I know the ask now. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go figure it out. I'm live. I'm gonna be live for an hour, man. Just hanging out. Like I say, just so I was already a loner at the time Tino died. Not as much as now. These last few years, man. My youngest son is. I think my youngest son is still 6. Let me see. Yeah, he's 6. But I will double check. I ain't seen him in so long. So funny this app want me to pay, and they don't be sending me the pictures I want to see. They always sending me pictures of other kids, man. I fucking hate that app. So yeah, man. I don't care. I don't care. I care about the deaths that ain't. I care about the deaths as much as you guys care about Carmelita and Tino. Christmas Day, Carmelita was raped and murdered. 1983. I was 5 years old. South side of Chicago. She worked that day. She worked that day. She worked on Christmas. My grandmother told me her first child, her oldest child, came from a rape. She was raped. She was sent to the hospital. Her and her mother were having difficulties beefing, so she called the white jackets on my grandmother. Back in the days, you could call white jackets on people. They'll come and take a person, take them to the nut house. You could get a person committed back in those days, especially the situation that my grandmother and my great grandmother was going through. Teenage girl growing up, acting wild, get her committed. Another reason I don't like the red pill. So look at how the red pill dudes talk about rape. According to the red pill, and like I say, most of this, the title was that I was gonna have a blue pill rant. So my grandmother, she told me her mother, got her committed. She got sent to the nutty house. While she was there, the therapist, my grandma was 14 at the time. Well, she's probably 13 when she was sent there because she had the baby at 14. So my grandmother, 14 years old, going through puberty, or like they used to say back then, going through the vapor stage, or you know what I'm saying? They used to. We stupid as hell is about sex these days. It's 2023. Look at the things people say and think about sex and sexuality and puberty and all this other stuff. People are born gay. Think about what they're saying. Think about what you're saying about a 3-year-old. You're born gay, so what is a 3-year-old gay? What does that mean to be a 3-year-old gay kid? Well, according to those people, anybody who preaches that, I don't like red pill people because look at what they say about rape. According to the red pill, my 14-year-old grandmother probably seduced that doctor. It wasn't him. She made all the sexual advances, took advantage of that doctor, and cried rape. But the red pill types, they think it's awesome that back in the days, laws were the way they were. Even if she was 14 and she did report it, her being black, the doctor being white, you know, what have these red pill dudes been saying about my grandma this whole time? So that happened like in the 40s, 50s. let's see, according to the math, that probably would have been about 1944, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, about 1944. So fast forward to 1983, Christmas Day, 1983, Chicago, Illinois. Carmelita Chisholm, Carmelita Hamilton, her maiden name. Um, she went to work on Christmas Day. A dude came into the store. He locked himself in. There was my aunt there and a white lady. The guy came in and he raped them both. He ended up killing my aunt. He didn't just rape my aunt, he killed her. He shot the other lady too. Now, I really would love to hear, I would love to talk face to face to a Donovan Sharp about my aunt or any of these other red pillars that say the things they say about rape. According to Don, I mean, I really would like to find like the report and like face this dude and have him tell me some of that stuff to my face. He had he had this one video he was talking about. He was in the grocery store and broke somebody orbital bone. You're much bigger than me, Donovan. I mean, he probably enough. Maybe he will. Maybe one of his fans will see this one day and let him know some little skinny Pookie Ray Ray. I don't know what category. I don't understand the Pookie Ray Ray thing, but I know that I'm from where I'm from. I'm not ashamed of where I'm from, and I don't. And I've been all around now. Born and raised in Chicago, left for Texas, and in the following years, I've driven and worked in every state. Well, all 44 of the contiguous United States. And when I was younger, I was happy, life, enjoyed it. If I went to a party, I would have had fun. I would have been one of those, one of you goofy people. Well, I wouldn't. I danced some here and there when I was like a teenager. Wasn't my thing, though. It never was my thing. I remember Tino and his sister tried to teach me how to dance when we was little kids. They wanted to teach me how to dance. And we used to have fun doing that, my little dance lessons. And we were silly with it, of course. We were kids. I was like 12, 13, 12. Yeah, I was 12. I was 12. Tino was 11. She was 10. We doing a little dance lessons from the. We had these mirrors, and 44 minutes and 44 minutes and 41 seconds. That's not ticking right. This ain't recording right. I can tell this ain't recording right. That timer not moving right. Yeah, that timer not moving right. So this thing is probably recording very horribly. But who else can I talk to about Tino? I want to talk to y'all about Tino, man. Me and him had way too hard lives. We was homeless too many times. We was homeless too many times, man. Sometimes, I don't like talking to nobody really. I mean, sometimes, but usually not, because people so damn stupid, man. and they think they so damn smart. Being from Chicago and then leaving and living in all these other states and working in all these other states, it's so funny. The media, man, they talk about us in a real fucked up way, man. Chicago really needs to take its own. Chicago really need to like take its own. What am I looking for? It needs to stop letting other outsiders. It needs to stop letting outsiders like Ice T came up there, made that video. Always want to be a hoe, where he glorified the pimps of Chicago and hoeing and prostitution. Them was real hoes in that video. Them was real hoes in that video. Them was real pimps. And the game wasn't pretty, man. Game ain't pretty. Pimping ain't funny, man. It ain't cool. And you know, you know, all these school shooters, man, and grocery store shooters. Why don't they become vigilantes? Why do they have to go out like that, go in the grocery store, killing a bunch of unarmed people that's just grocery shopping, going to churches, shooting people trying to worship God? It's so odd to me. And these be these dudes that be talking all that stuff. You don't take out bad guys. You don't take out criminals, serial killers, pedophiles. Why go out like that? It's so funny, man. These red pill dudes. Again, let's get back to the red pill. Most of these school shooters, verifiably red pill. Candace Owens, almost all of them were subscribed to Candace Owens, fans of Candace Owens, sent Candace Owens monies. Some of them was obsessed with Candace Owens. White supremacist. You know what I'm saying? The Buffalo shooter. White supremacist goes to Buffalo to kill black people, but he loved Candace Owens. Something she never talk about. Why do your fans, you talk about hip hop and the bad influence and how many people died because of hip hop, which is probably not true at all. Hip hop really is rapping about the crime. Hip hop don't come before the crime. It's rapping about criminal stuff, man. These red pill killers, no felonies, no arrests. The dude who shot up the Chicago Heights parade, no priors, no priors, no prior convictions. First conviction, something like that. Just this is what the red pill has done. I ain't gonna talk about it too real. It's a waste of time. Another famous line Tupac said while explaining the game, niggas ain't listening. Stuck in position. If victims can't stand the heat, get the fuck out the kitchen. And I don't care, man. I born in Chicago in the 70s. Me and my brother was born, you know, 70s. He was born in Cook County Hospital. I was born in Michael Reese. And we was over there, man. We was by the water. Uptown, low end, jungle, red line, 95th and State, end of the line. We was taking those trains before the buses was there, before the Greyhounds went there. 87, 79th. Grew up on those trains, passing out flyers in front of the grocery store. Excuse me, ma'am. You need help with your groceries? Excuse me, ma'am. Can I help you with your groceries? It's children, man. Still in elementary school. These are the things that we had to do to get food, to get laundry money. First time me and Tino was arrested together, he was 11, I was 12. Gang shit. He had my back. I had got jumped either the week before or 2 weeks before that. Probably about 8 kids jumped me. Brother saved me. Older brother saved me. Older black man. We was kids. We was elementary school still. So he scooped down, picked me up. Had a big leather jacket. He scooped down, picked me up, and like ran with me. And then he put me down and he said, "Run, nigga!" And I ran. And they wasn't catching me after he gave me the green light to run. Shit, I was boom. Because it wasn't never okay to run. They taught you never run. But I was just, I was outnumbered. And most of those kids was older than me. What happened that day? That first time I got jumped, my hands was just bloody. Wait, when did I? Yep. So that first time I got jumped, my hands was bloody. The next week, or 2 weeks later, I can't remember if it was the following week or 2 weeks later, but old boy hit me. Bam! Now, they were saying he hit me. I ain't even say how he hit me and what he hit me, but he had a weapon, and he hit me with a weapon. And I don't know if he did or not. I mean, he knocked me out, knocked me out, and a lot of stuff in between. Tino hit him in the face with a pipe. Hooked him up. And that probably wasn't the first time we was arrested together. We was arrested twice that year. Once was for stealing, and then once was for that incident. They jumped me the week before. The following week, I got hit in the eye. My eye was closed. Knocked me out, and my eye was closed my eye was closed. It was one of them. Like that was a black eye that I had. Tino hit him in the face with a pipe. We used to tell that. That was our story, man. We told that story a lot of times, and I was proud of him. I was proud of him, man. I was always proud of Tino, man. I'm proud of the way he danced. I was proud of, you know, very proud of Tino, man. Always. I really was, man. Before that, after that, love Tino, man. But I was really proud of him that day. And then on top of that, I was like, man, can't nobody in the family, y'all can't say what y'all been saying. He was little, man. He was, at that time, he was a late bloomer. And he was smaller than everybody. He was small for his age. And he was kind of, a little slow for his age. No fault of his own. Wasn't his fault. He wanted to learn. He wanted. I'm gonna upload those videos whenever I can, and I should upload my videos too. You know, fuck YouTube and the algorithm and trying to get views. Listen to the fans, not the critics. That's something that I always said, but I didn't practice that. Listen to the fans, not the critics. That's who you should be working for. That's who you should serve. But that's not the world we live in. And that's not us as a people, my family, you know, black bitches. You know what I'm saying? You's a bitch. You treat your family like shit. You treat the people who care about you like shit. You treat the people who will feed you like shit. You treat the people you live with like shit. You treat your children like shit. You treat your husband like shit. And then you go kiss the motherfucker's ass who don't give a fuck about you. If you can't come to work the next day, fuck you. We're gonna replace you. Your children don't want to replace their mother. They don't. They don't. Growing up the way I grew up, I could have went to the foster home. And since I've been talking to Al, ain't nobody watching this anyway. Me and Tino cried together a lot of times. Not a lot of times. In our life, maybe 3 times. But yeah, nobody's watching this, and maybe nobody will watch this. And if anybody watched this, that means they watched the whole hour. So I'll go ahead and say it. And it's 2 years after Tino passed. And Tino did the right thing. Tino was the hero. Tino, he's the one that made the call. They got them put in the foster home. Their mother was smoking crack and disappeared. They hadn't seen her in days. And Tino was there with his 2 little sisters. And they was hungry and crying. He walked down to a payphone and he dialed 911. The police showed up and they ended up going to the foster home. He told me this in 2008, and we cried together. Grown men, ex convicts, both of us. We cried together, man. Like we cried. We cried. And I told him, man, you did the right thing, man. It's not your fault. You did the right thing, man. You did the only thing that you could do. You saved the family. You sacrificed the family. You sacrificed yourself for the family, which you always did, man. You always did. He would have did anything to protect the family. He really would have. If the family would have showed him any love, man. Tino was that type, man. You scratch his back, he'll appreciate it forever. And I think you know, he tried to make up for all the. He felt guilty about that forever, man. He was only 11 years old when he had to make that call. And of course, he didn't know what calling 911 was going to do. Why did he have to make the call? We was living in Chicago, a super crowded city. They was living, I think they was living at the 4848 in Uptown at the time. If they weren't living there, they was living somewhere equally crowded. Plenty of people knew those kids was in there by themselves for days. And of course, the way we came up, our culture and everything, you can't be a snitch. You damn sure can't snitch on your own mother. And of course, he wasn't snitching. And I had to tell him that, he wasn't really worried about the snitching part. He was much more worried about betraying his mother, breaking up his family, and his thought, we would have never gone to the foster home in the first place if not for me. And then he came to live with us. And it explains so many things about why he did back me up the way he did. You know, we had came together, him and his dysfunctional home where he was facing all this neglect, and then me and my dysfunctional home where I was facing a completely different type of neglect and abuse. And now we two little Chicago kids. We could figure out a lot. Nobody else gave a fuck. Again, like Tupac says, thug life. The hate you give little infants fucks everybody. You can't imagine if you're not a black man, even if most black men, and this is something I realized too over the years, listening to these red pill cats who hate little niggas from the hood. I remember one time, we in the jungle now. Tino living with us is me, Tino, the girls. I'm not gonna mention them because they wouldn't mention me, and they wouldn't want me. They probably wouldn't want me to mention them in my little video, my little my little video. I don't know how true it is, but Tino was basically saying that everybody cut him off. He couldn't get a sandwich from nobody, and it was true. It was true. You know what I'm saying? He had got to the point where he hated asking me for money, and I didn't make it easy. I was sick of it, and I kept telling him this the last time, this the last time. And then eventually it was the last time. I wasn't sending him money his last year. Not really. I mean, I would have to check my PayPal to see the last thing I sent him. But it wasn't working, man. You know, and it's like I love my brother, but my brother, he was, he just didn't understand what it's like to be middle class. He hadn't made it to. He wasn't he wasn't in the rat race. He didn't have a bunch of bills and bitches like I had. You know, he got all his women when he was super broke. So, they didn't ask the same type of money and stuff like that I was dealing with at the time. You know what I'm saying? He would call me and ask me for like $20. That's why I had him. You got to open a PayPal, bro. You ask me for $20, I'm gonna pay $10 for the money order fee, sending it and everything. You want me to wire you $5? It costs more than $5 to wire you money. I can't. It's not gonna work. And on top of it, it's so inconvenient for me. I gotta find a place that does that stuff. I gotta go through all the paperwork. I get cash or this or that, and I don't do that. And on top of that, I'm pretty sure nobody has ever Western Union me any money because the way my mama raised me, man. Don't ask me for shit. Don't ask anybody for shit. My mom was pretty red pill. She would tell me some shit like that. A man should never ask a woman for nothing. And I fell for that. I lived most of my life like that, man. I would let money go one way. Nah, that's a lie. Not most of my life. I wasn't tricking. But I did get there. And as I got older and as I was making more money, I was thinking that that's okay to be, you know what I'm saying? It's not okay. It's not okay. Again, let's get to this blue pill part, this blue pill stuff. What these red pill dudes say, that shit ain't okay. Think about all the red pillars you know. Donovan Sharp, I mentioned him already. Um, Rolo Tomasi. Uh, I don't know these names like that. Let's see if Siri can help me out. Hey Siri, show me a list of the top red pill content creators. So this was written in 2000. No, this ain't that at all. Richest red pill content creators. Richard Cooper. He's a popular red pillar entrepreneurs in cars. Um, I'm not a red pillar, so it's hard for me to name these dudes. Let me try it like this. Popular red pill content creators. Let's see if this will let me see it. Unreviewed content. This community has not been reviewed and might contain inappropriate. You can view it in the app. Hell no. So they won't let me see it unless I download the app. This red pill is just the biggest grift ever. Let's see if this works. Okay. No, no cookies, motherfucker. So I don't even know these names. Escuela. That should look like it's written. It should look like it's Spanish. Escuela, red pill. When was this written? Well, this is a long list. And this was written by a woman. She has Rolo Tomasi. I mentioned him. And she got Richard Cooper name right there too as number 8. I don't know who Troy Francis is, but Troy Francis is a black pill person. Man God. I don't know who that is. And it kind of looks like his channel's been deleted. Ryan Stone. Real Femme Sapien. She's a girl. Donovan Sharp's YouTube channel offers subscribers red pill dating. So I did mention him. He's listed at number 4. So this probably is kind of old, I think. Red Pill Nation. Man, I wonder what year this article was written. Red Pill News. Let me see if I could zoom in on that. Yeah, he does make Spanish content, that first one. Oh, yeah, this got to be old. This got to be old. The number one, the person she has at number 1, a video 9 months ago, 10,000 views. No. 2,000 subscribers. So yeah, this got to be real old, especially if that's the number 1 red pill content creator. Red Pill News, 180K subscribers. Yeah, that's got to be old. He's number 2. Red Pill Nation, 29,000 subscribers. Oh, so that used to be Fresh and Fit. Fresh and Fit used to call their channel Red Pill Nation. No, they got red. No, they got Fresh and Fit there, but Fresh and Fit ain't got a lot of views. All the little, they got a whole bunch of. They do got Fresh and Fit videos at the bottom. No, this can't be too old because they got shorts. Fresh and Fit, Red Pill. Um, what's his name? They got a picture of him right here. The bald dude, uh, Andrew Tate. Uh, he's here. But just think about all these dudes, all these red pill dating coaches. At this point, these dudes have been making this content for over 10 years. Dating advice. 10 years. You know, when they came out with this red pill stuff, especially Donovan Sharp, he knew the secrets to women. He had figured it out. How to speak womanese. He could talk any woman in anything. So smooth and fly and sexy and alpha. He hid his girlfriend for the longest time. Now we see her, and when his girlfriend when they first exposed his girlfriend, they start showing her pictures and everything. I remember when he first showed her. He first tried to show off his girlfriend on Instagram. years ago, and I remember that, and I had to get him. I had to get him. He been bragging about how he was the biggest player in the world and how he got all these women and how all these women were fine and perfect. And this woman that he been talking about for all these years, he finally posted a picture. And I had to clown her, man, because she had built him up as he's saying all this horrible stuff. And they were mostly on some racist stuff. They was bashing black women bad. That was the main reason I was riding on him. Talking about black women are the ugliest and the least desirable and blah blah blah. Man, I haven't seen none of these dudes come up with prettier girlfriends than I had. Especially like you look at my days, and it was going very well for me. My teen years, my early 20s. I haven't seen any of these dudes with girls as pretty as, you know, the pretty girls that I was messing with. Are you kidding me? Tupac, great example. Grandma was right. You catch more flies with honey than with shit. Now the truth of it, and this is blue pill reality right here, as opposed to the red pill, because the red pill try to teach motherfuckers you go negging, and you know you start these you you tweak, you hypnotize, you end up fucking these bitches with low self esteem and real fucked up issues by negging. And again, us, me, our family, we are the type to ignore compliments or avoid people who come. Somebody chasing you, you run. Somebody's running from you, you chase them. We think like dogs. And I experienced this, but I wasn't like that when I was young. Like when I hit puberty, it was good. All right, time for this stream to end. Yeah, yeah, I gotta end this stream. The animals is going too crazy out there. I gotta see what's going on.